Hey ladies and gentlemen, I got another one for you. You know me talking about the things that nobody wants to talk about, but I say it out loud. Before we start, like, share, hit the bell notification, watch the whole freaking video for me, and let's go. My first thought as I came around, oh my god, what have I done? Man suing the NHS for trans surgery he bitterly regrets has bravely waived anonymity to share the ordeal. Now we all know that when you go around be like, yes, I said it, I don't care, I said what I said. When you waive your anonymity to prove a point, that usually means you really care about the subject and you don't care about the repercussions. I respect people that want to say something and are not afraid for the pushback. The fact that a pushback exists when you're doing something permanent and you're not allowed to talk about the negativity about it, yikes. For Richie Heron, a bright and articulate civil servant from Newcastle, life over the past 4 years have become almost unbearable. It takes him 10 minutes 10 minutes to empty his bladder, a process as painful as it is slow. Any sex drive is long gone. In fact, he says his crotch is numb, shell-shocked by the damage done to him under the apparent care of NHS. Remember, sometimes they give you these hormones they give pedophiles, so they can I don't know why they gave you that one, but all I know is a lot of people that do this surgery, the sex drive goes so low, even the partner they're with, like, yo, you want to feel good about yourself, you look like yourself, but you don't want to be with me again? What's the point? And they dump them. It happens, no joke. Nump rather sums up Richie's bold demeanor as he struggles to process what has happened to him. Today he reveals in the exclusive interview that he is the man preparing legal action against the NHS over an operation that removed his genitalia. Okay. Richie case emerged last week when he posted about his experience on Twitter under the pseudonym Tullerip. I don't know these words, man. His brief testimony, which was picked up by the Daily Mail, was as shocking as it was damning for the NHS gender clinic that help people change sex. This is not a negative video about trans. It's just take your options slowly, not too fast. Very simple. I would never put a tattoo because it's permanent. I would never have sex without a condom because a baby is permanent. I would never snip myself, my breast, my pee-pee or whatever, or tell my wife to do anything to her body to make me happy because I know there might be permanent damage. Battling mental health issue after decades of suppressing his homosexuality, Richie 35 had thought the answer was to become a woman, but instead he says he was fast-tracking into making the biggest mistake of his life and left infertile, incontinent, and with an ongoing pain. And nobody talked about that. Nobody talks about the permanent pain forever. Nobody talks about the medicine that you have to take forever. Why don't you ask the doctor, put them in an uncomfortable position? And you will see they feel bad to tell you the truth, because if they tell you the truth, they're afraid the company might even sue them for transphobia. What? Not only had the NES clinically failed to take into account his spiraling mental health crisis, he claims, but it had also failed to properly counsel him about the risk. Duh! Richie has decided to waive his anonymity to tell the story of his ordeal in full, detail the physical and the mental scars he has been left with, and warn there are more like him ready to take legal action over the surgery they bitterly regret. His account raises questions about the safeguards in the place of NHS gender clinics, which has seen 170% rise in referrals over the past 10 years, accounted by mainly by children and young adults. Hey man, you gotta be kidding me, man. Children! And you're gonna be like, why are you smiling? Because if I tell you this in a very, very, very serious, oh gentlemen, this is bad, my MS kicks in. I might still be paralyzed forever. So the only way I can go forward is smile. Just like when my mom passed away next to me, I smiled. They're like, oh, so you didn't feel anything? I guess you didn't love your mother that much. Yeah, kinda U-turned, I know. But guess what? I'm still here. And it worked really well. Sometimes you need to push in a direction with a smile, even if it's uncomfortable. What the heck word was that? But hey, I still managed to finish the sentence and you still understand me. That's the problem. I don't care to speak perfect. I don't care to represent myself perfect. I care just to find value in my life. And I don't think this is giving kids value. The speed at which Richie, who had been living as a woman called Abby, was diagnosed and subsequently referred to an irreversible surgery is disturbing in itself. In fact, he says he had repeatedly turned down the procedure and had voiced deep misgivings to the clinical staff about having it. Oh, his case, he believes, could spark a wave of further claims. This is an avalanche waiting to happen, he tells the Mail on Sunday. Transitioning is now being sold to people on a mass scale. It's like PPI, but more sinister. In a few years, I'm sure we'll have a law firm asking people if they transitioned and would like to claim compensation. According to Richie, no one professional explored whether mental health issue may have led him to believe he was trans. No, because if you do that, that's transphobic. Why the heck would they do something if you can sue them? Today, he's one of the growing number of the detransitioners living once again as a man and grieving his mistakes. Much of his confusion was around accepting he was gay. He now acknowledges it, but now he doesn't have the libido, and now he can even produce the baby. Even if he wanted to be gay with another gay and want to use a surrogate mom to have something of his baby in the belly of a woman, he can. He has to choose of the other person. Richie says he buried his sexuality, which left him with depression, anxiety, obsessive-compulsive disorder, using repetitive behavior to mask his unhappiness. A lot of people have been there, we just didn't know how to call it. Then in the 20s, he stumbled across the idea of gender dysphoria in an internet chat room. Older men on the forum convinced the vulnerable young man he must be trans. At the time for Richie, it felt like a light bulb. What? After a series of breakdowns in 2012, he decided to seek professional help. Ow. He referred to the psychologist who did not dissuade him of the notion he had gender dysphoria, and then to the Northern Region Gender Dysphoria servers run by Cumbria Noord-Brabant. He was referred to the psychologist who did not dissuade him from the notion that he had gender dysphoria, and then to the Northern Region Gender Dysphoria servers run by a long unique name. The waiting list for an appointment was long, but consumed with the idea, Richie took out a payday loan to pay for the appointment at a private gender clinic in 2014. According to Richie, he was diagnosed with transsexualism after just two 30-minute appointments. A psychiatrist recommended him to take medication to block his testosterone production, the first step towards gender resignation. The only attempt to put the brakes on came from a close family member who came to the appointment at the clinic with him. Richie says, she told the doctor, I was on a high dose of antidepressant and and had lots of complex issues, and yet they were referring to me for gender treatment. So why did Richie go along with it? I was 26, but I was vulnerable. If he can be vulnerable, what about the kids? Let's change the subject, of course. He began living full-time under the name Abby, dressing in female clothes. The testosterone suppressant drugs meant he began developing breasts. By March of 2015, he was attending appointment at the NHS gender clinic in Newcastle. The first question you asked there is, do you want genital surgery? He says. I wasn't sure, but I heard you could get therapy if they were on the waiting list for surgery, so I said yes. Okay. Yes, that's bad. If you put yourself in the queue, there's a big chance you're gonna buy it anyway because you're like, I'm already standing in the queue for long. I did it all for nothing. So the probability you will go through, people. Psychology is an interesting thing. The clinic, which will not comment on Richie's specific case, told the MOS it does not provide mental health service to a patient. Then why the heck are you doing surgery to fix a mental health issue if you're not giving that mental health? Less than 6 months later, in July 2015, Richie received a referral for vaginoplasty surgery. Richie says he told the psychiatrist he was unsure and turned it down, but continued to receive therapy. In 2017, 2 years later, he was given another referral for surgery to be performed at the Nuffield Hospital in the Brighton, but paid for by NHS with the taxpayer money. Be careful. Richie refused again, but says he was told that if he did not accept the referral, he will be discharged from the server. You're cancelled. You're not real trans. You're faking it. And you think I'm joking? I bet he actually felt that. This sent him into a tailspin. He believed it meant his therapy would also be withdrawn, which has been a lifeline. He had recently admitted he felt suicidal. These people need people to talk with. At 10 a.m. on March 2018, Richie was wheeled into the operation theater. Oh my god, so he accepted it. I didn't even see the surgeon, he says. I was very much in the mindset of I'm here now. There's no stopping it even if I wanted to because I'm already in the queue, and if it said no, you're cancelled. You're not trans. This irreversible operation involves removing the piston and the testicles and reforming the area to resemble a female genitalia. By 8 days, he lay in a blur of painkillers. His first thought as he recovered lucidity was, oh god, what have I done? I bet a lot of suicide people that jump from a bridge are gonna like, oh my god, what have I done? You think I'm joking? Ask anybody or go find videos of people that survived. They're gonna say you the same thing. Richie is now planning a legal case against Cumbria Northumberland 10 and why the long name? His barrister Peter Harton says patients like Richie face a lifetime of medical care and consequence and cannot be put back together again. He adds, my concern is clinically fail to identify red flags and change direction. Proper consideration needs to be given to an issue such as OCD, internalized homophobia, depression, drug use, sexual abuse, and childhood trauma as potential reason for a patient rejecting their sexed body. In a statement, the trust said it could not comment on the individual, but it added, care plans are collaborative and tailored to each patient's needs and goals, and treatment decisions are made following throughout assessment in line with the national recommendation. Richie says, I'm the proof the whole system has become far more robust. How many more people are there out there like me? Well, and I know, and that is the thing. I'm not saying that I'm a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm just a person that actually can see specific common sense. And looking at people like this, especially when I focus a lot on psychology, how to help my own kids, my kids with autism, what I've learned this past few years, because I'm all into that about the childhood traumas, how to help them and feel safe so they don't suffer from anxiety, I see a pattern that is always the same. And when a kid tries to solve something or an adult, it has to be slowly with attempt with failures. You cannot jump bam and fail, because if you make him jump, it's irreversible. You don't go parachute jumping the first time and be like, hey, let's hope it works, but I want to jump without the trainer behind me because I think I can just pull the cable. No, you need to like jumping, maybe a little sky, I don't know, you want to jump with skateboards, like to jump, watch a lot of movies, see if you're scared, jump from a high place into the sea. I don't know, you need to get that feeling before you jump from a plane. That's it. You don't be like on the land forever. I wanna jump and let's see the consequences. I don't know. If that mentality is crazy, I prefer to be crazy, because I would never do anything in my life, even if I'm depressed or whatever. The idea that it's permanent and it's a permanent failure, that is a possibility. We need to think twice why we are pushing that at a clinic that's like, well, we don't do mental health, but we can solve your mental health with something permanent. People, how does that make sense? Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Don't want to make it too long. Life is good, precious, and hey Richie, I wish you the best. I hope you can. I think you did something already great. That's all I can say.